written, you have to write this in the LASIX message. Then what you will get, what you will get. So first, the steps. Natural language understanding, what it means. LASIX uses NLP algorithms. Again, NLP means what? Natural language processing. There are so many NLP algorithms. BERT is there. REBERT is there. There are so many algorithms that I will not discuss here. But there are so many algorithms. So, LASIX uses that NLP algorithms to understand the meaning behind your sentence, not just keyword. Okay? And here, it will detect these parts. What is the intent? What is the intent? So, intent is what? You are looking for landmark cases. Landmark means what? Some very, very important cases. Not all the cases belongs to this kind. You are looking for landmark cases, important cases. Subject is what? The subject is breach of contract, contract violation. These are subject. And jurisdictions, that is from India. So within India, your objective is to search the landmark cases on breach of contract. And definitely, you will get some results. But how you will get the result? What NLP contributes to the system, to the LASIX, to get the result. That is my concern, and that I want to explain here. Okay, now entity recognition. So AI recognizes and extracts legal terms from the sentence. Legal terms from the sentence. So what are the legal terms here? Breach of contract, that basically maps to contract law, and landmark cases. Landmark cases, it is what? Prioritizes high profile cases. That means only very, very important cases we are looking for. And next, contextual matching. So this is very, very important. So here we are not only matching with where the breach word is there. No. This contextual matching means what? Instead of showing results with just the keyword, extract keyword, the AI looks all the legal context of the document. It means what? It means it will generate all the, let's assume that some results are there where based on the, instead of breach, violation is mentioned. Violation is mentioned. Okay? Though instead of landmark, important or very important, the term very important is mentioned. So, your application will extract that information also. That is basically known as contextual meaning. So, it will extract the keyword and find the synonyms of that keyword, and that is the function of natural language processing. And that NLP or that NLP system will be built by artificial intelligence. So this is the summarized document, another task that performed by LASIX. How to summarize. Already I have said so many times. For legal documents, several times I have heard, few times I have seen also. The documents may be of 100 pages, maybe of 500 pages, I don't know why. So, you need to summarize. You can do it manually, or using machine you can do. But for manually, there is a chance of doing some mistakes because we are human beings. We are human beings. But if machine performs this and machine is well trained, then the problem will be very reduced. You will get more accurate result. Okay? So case briefs, petition, judgment, contracts, this kind of things you have to do. The next one, maybe the last one, there is another tool. The name is Compass. So Compass means what? Correctional offender management, profiling for alternative sanctions. Maybe everybody knows that term, Compass. This is an AI-based risk assessment tool mostly used in some US courts. United States में ये यूज होता है. Compass. So what is the function of compass? What's the purpose? The purpose is what? It helps judges decide things like whether to grant parole. There are different features are there for getting parole. Okay? So it will determine the score, and based on that, the prisoner can get parole or not. Okay? So whether to grant parole, have severe sentence should be, and whether a person is likely to re-offend. Is there any chance to get any problem create after discharging from the jail? So these are all the things, these are all the purposes. So that's why compass is used. Okay? So how it works? So past criminal history, it will look past criminal history, it will look the demographics, that means the age, the gender, it will look the employment, the education, the family background of that person who was in the jail, and based on that, it will calculate the risk. It will calculate the risk score, and based on that, it will decide whether we can lift that person for parole or not. Okay. Okay. So another tool I will not discuss here. It's a case management system. And this is the fake, maybe another time, if time permits, I will say. Advantage is also there, disadvantage is also there. Identify fake images, how to identify this. And we are also researching on that particular topic in collaboration with Shivpur, IIS Shivpur for deepfake detection. And okay. So the future of AI in law is what? AI may assist with case prediction, personalized legal services, and even automated judgment in all disputes. However, human judgment and ethics remain vital. So the last line is very, very important. AI can assist you, but AI cannot replace you. And that line is very, very true for medical sector, very, very true for law sector, very, very true for everywhere. AI can assist you. AI can assist you, but not AI replace you. Okay? Thank you. Yes, slide. If a student wants, you can share it, okay? But the thing is that two papers.
मैं डिलीट कर दूंगी आफ्टर दिस सेशन
Yeah, this two. Just delete this two. ये अगर स्प्रिंट आता तो ये ब्लॉक से अच्छा এটা আমার লাগবে আপনার কি কে লাগে আমার তো ইন্টারনেট কানেকশনটা একটা ভালো হয় একটা মাউস তো ঠিক
আচ্ছা, আমি একটা কথা মানে বলতে চাইছিলাম, সেটা এখন বলে দিচ্ছি যে
Everyone,
আপনাদের প্রিন্সিপাল ডক্টর সমিত কুমার দত্ত মাইতি, তার সঙ্গে আমার খুবই ভালো সম্পর্ক, এবং তার বারংবার অনুরোধেই আজকে আমি এখানে আসতে পেরেছি। এখানে এসে আমি খুব মানে কৃতজ্ঞ। এত সুন্দর একটা অনুষ্ঠান এবং মানে যুগের উপযোগী একটা মানে ওয়ার্কশপে আমাকে উনি নিমন্ত্রণ করেছেন। ওনাকে ধন্যবাদ এবং সবাইকে আবার ধন্যবাদ দিচ্ছি। নমস্কার।
thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Today we learned many technical aspects of AI and its application process and procedure. AI, which seems to be the most perfect technology, also has loopholes and lacunas. The AI, which we profusely rely on, is relying on us to create its intelligence. It is based upon the data we provide with bias or without bias. Now, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Shawik Kumar Guho. Sir. Sir is currently serving as Associate Professor, Law and Technology at the West Bengal University of Juridical Sciences. He is also a TEDx speaker, a Senior Research Fellow, non-resident at Vidhi Center for Law and Policy, Associate Research Fellow, non-resident at the Center of Responsible Artificial Intelligence, IIT Madras, a visiting faculty at Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law, IIT Kharagpur, and at the Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak, as well as an honorary adjunct professor at Institute of Advancing Intelligence of TCG, Centers for Research and Education in Science and Technology. Dr. Guho also holds membership with IP and Innovation Researchers of Asia Network, IPIRA, the Steering Committee for the Global Smart, Sustainable Market Actors for Responsible and Coalition for Responsible Evolution of AI, CORE AI. His areas of interest include corporate and financial laws, law and technology with special focus on artificial intelligence, law, literature, and popular culture and competition law. He has also been a part of multiple major and minor research projects, including interdisciplinary and collaborative projects in the domain of corporate, financial laws, and law and technology, AI and law, outer space law, competition law, from various IITs, IIMs, IISER, Jadavpur University, as well as multiple foreign universities. Now, I would like to, sir, to take over the dais.
Thank you for that generous introduction. And the thing is, I get to appreciate one of the biggest challenges that all of you, especially the students, must be facing now, being a long day, approaching lunch. Not a very good time to start talking. And I would have preferred to speak to you all and address you all in Bengali, but I've been told that there are at least 10 to 15% of you who may be non-Bengalis, so I will continue in English. Now, the thing is that this is supposed to be a workshop, and in 1 hour, or I'm not going to take 1 hour, no problem. Lunch is impending. But the thing is that I'm not going to be able to teach you about the technical or fine legal aspects of artificial intelligence and law during this period of time. That is not my intention either. But it's a bit different. See, the thing is, the way it has worked for me has been a little bit different from usual legal education. In that, I have had somehow the fortune, misfortune, whatever you call it, to have had to study science, arts, and commerce at some point of time in my life, all professionally, formally. Now, because of that, there was one of the speakers earlier were actually trying to tell you how important mathematics is. I know that as for law students, that sounds very daunting. Most of my students are mortally afraid of anything to do with numbers, graphs, of everything. And what I can assure you is that it's not absolutely essential for the purpose of learning AI and law. May seem a bit hypocritical in saying that because I love mathematics personally. Used to love it in school, subsequently have studied it, worked upon it, etc. But that's actually not the reason why I ended up in this AI and law discipline. The reason why I ended up in AI and law discipline is because about 7 years back, when India was actually starting for the first time thinking about this issue, and there were certain prominent technologists who were trying to figure out what to do. So some of them approached me for the very basic reason that I was known to do certain weird experiments in law. What kind of weird experiments? I'll give you a very small example. Somebody mentioned my TEDx speech. Certainly not a very good thing that I had given, and not one of my best moments. Chiefly because of the fact that when I had started to give that speech, I realized that whatever huge kinds of flashlights they were using, that was exactly focusing on my eyes, where I was supposed to stand, and then I realized that's not going to work. So I took the hands-free, started roaming all around the podium and tried to give the speech so that I will not just be blinded. So you can understand that that's not a very good way to give a speech. Now, but the reason why I had to give that speech was because I don't know how many of you have actually, when you were growing up, it was still a fad. How many of you have actually read Harry Potter? So few. My goodness. Watch the movies at least. Some of you. Anyhow. So at least, I'm sure some of you, or most of you are at least familiar with what it represents or what it talks about. Magic, mystery, stuff like that, right? So I had, I had the fortune of designing at least 4 new courses which were not previously taught in Indian law schools. Most of them to do with commercial courses, lately AI and law. But I had also structured this course on Harry Potter and law, which was taught formally at NUJS. It's still being taught, and it was apparently what the media told me, that it was the first of its kind in the world. And I had faced a lot of criticism also at that point of time, because most of the senior lawyers, legal academics, they were thinking that what is this? Why do you need to do this kind of thing? Teach what you know, teach company law, teach finance, teach banking law, help students do to get a job, etc. But the fact that I ended up doing that experiment, and I assure you that the students liked it quite a bit. It helped them subsequently. They made a documentary out of it later on. But that was the reason why people approached me, because they thought that I'm not afraid to do experiments. And that is exactly, I think I have been told that this room more or less sits around 240 people. So out of that, if there are 200 students here today, all of you are not going to become law and tech or AI lawyers. That's fine. But what I can tell you is that by the time you graduate, some of you may have already graduated, I don't know whether there is any master students here, but at least within the next 5 to 6 years, you are all going to be using AI in one form or another. If you do not use AI, if you think that there is no need to learn how to use AI, you are going to be summarily identified as irrelevant in the legal sector. That's something which I can promise, because that's the way things are working. This does not mean, I repeat, this does not mean that AI is going to take away your jobs. As a lawyer, you need not be afraid of that, at least for now. But what is true is that all of you have been told from the very beginning, I'm sure by your faculty members, others, that this is a time of competition, right? Everybody is competing with each other. Few jobs, lot of graduates, huge competition in litigation, courts, everywhere. So certainly, the few of your batchmates who are going to take the trouble of identifying and learning how to use AI to do the work that the client is going to pay you to do, they are going to take away your jobs. That's for sure. So lawyers with AI are going to take away the jobs of lawyers without AI. This has already happened. I don't know how many of you are aware of this or not. About 7 to 8 days back, in the UK, a law firm has been launched officially with proper affiliation from the UK bar, etc., which is purely AI driven. I'm only being able to talk to you about the details. I didn't think that I would be able to because there was a confidential some things which were in offing. But this morning, the UK Parliament has published and recognized some of the work that we had submitted to them. So it's now a matter of public record, wherein we have tried to show exactly, all of you have been told about these high-paying corporate jobs, right? Law firms, in-house companies, etc. As on date, the number of lawyers that the law firms are going to recruit is drastically going to reduce because of one fact only. Because we are not, and when I say we, I don't mean only your university or my university or Indian universities. This is the same problem with regard to law schools all across the world. We are not trying to tell our students how exactly they can use AI in all kinds of law. It's not the fault of the faculty. It's just that we have not yet got around our way to that fact that, well, things are changing. What are we focused on? How we can stop our students from using ChatGPT to do projects. Now, let me tell you about, I mean, if you think that ChatGPT is your biggest problem, let me show you. I don't like PPTs. I wouldn't have shown this, but it may seem a bit anticlimactic. Let's see how this, what do you make of this? Give me a second, please. Okay, the internet here is a bit of a... Okay, this laptop itself is... I didn't know anybody still uses Yahoo search engine. I mean, that has almost been phased out for a long period of time, to the extent that the Yahoo search engine is not even allowing me to do the search which is necessary here. Anyhow, let me... This is something which we have actually come up with very recently. And all of you, I'm actually showing this to you so that please take a note. If you are interested, you can actually go to this website and search it out for yourself. Give me a second, please. So this is actually a legal bot. We have made this patent pending, planning to apply for patent in the next couple of weeks. But let me show you what this can do. So some of you would have heard of this website. Maybe I'm just using this website for the purpose of getting a legal query. Any different people ask legal queries of their own, Lawyers Club India and CA Club India and all of these places. So let me just use one legal query from this. Anything will do. Rights and property. Yeah, great. This seems like a decent thing. So as you can see, a big legal query let me just copy this thing, and I'm not doing anything magic, by the way. Any of you can do this based on your own legal queries, anything somebody asks you. I know that the moment people start studying law, apparently everybody in their family or extended family believe that they are the one-stop shop for any kind of legal issues that the family is having. So in case you end up having such queries, this is the problem, right? So father-in-law, mother-in-law having basically a property-related issue. I'll read you through. See, a oath expired, leaving behind will, property, Noida, COVID issue, plot allocation. So it's I just took up this query on random, but this is an interesting thing because it does give certain basic details which you actually need to respond to anybody's legal questions, right? So the bot is now capable of giving an answer, and this is not the only answer. There are better and better quality of answers which are possible as of now, which is essentially the test which has been done is that any lawyer with approximately 1 to 2 years worth of practicing experience, whatever that lawyer is supposed to be able to respond to a legal query, the bot is going to give this response to you. 90 to 93.23% accuracy rate. Now this has been done in a space of 3.5 months. We have trained this algorithm from scratch. Now, what has been my work as a lawyer in there? Of course, the algorithm, the code I did not write, although my colleagues from tech have insisted that I learn how to write codes, because one of my teams that I was working with, they said that we only converse with each other using codes. We work from different parts of the country. So they said we only converse with each other using codes. If you don't learn to use codes, how are we going to use? We don't even use WhatsApp for this purpose. So they made me learn R, which is one of the programming languages for easily writing codes and stuff. But this bot has, as of now, it has been trained on approximately 1.75 lakh legal queries. And curation of these legal queries, which queries to take, which queries not to take, which responses to the queries, etc., have also been given by at least some of the country's top lawyers. That includes names which I'm not naming because confidentiality, but certainly you all know those names. Now, my point is twofold to show you this. One is what technology can do right now, and the second part is without a lawyer, this is of no use whatsoever. You cannot, if you do not have a law degree, you cannot give this advice to a client and charge him money because you're not allowed to. That won't be a legal response. And the second part is, remember, 93.23%. So that leaves scope for error. That leaves scope for error, and that is the reason why 100% of those queries will have to be vetted by you. For which purpose? You need to learn that law. So there was, my students no longer use, at least in my courses, the use of ChatGPT for solving projects is no longer a problem. That is because of the fact that since I had been able to figure out in advance that this is going to happen, because whatever technology my students use, I use that. I am at least aware of that very well. So I had to change my assignments. We also used to give these, essays which you write, then vivas you give, or presentations you give on the basis of those essays as internal components, etc. So all of that is a thing of past in my course. Last semester, I gave people 3 options. One option was that if I'm giving you an essay topic, I'm going to tell you that mandatorily use some form of LLM to generate a response. You can use any LLM, ChatGPT, Llama model, Claude, whatever. There are DeepSeek, there are hundreds and thousands of things now. Then what the student will still have to do is critique this 3,000 word essay, every single line of it, where the model has gone wrong, where it could have done better, where the evidences in support could have been increased, instead of a case X, whether case Y could have been used. Because trust me that the knowledge that you get, just like the knowledge that AI gets, that has an expiry period insofar as law is concerned. I train a model with case laws only up to 2020. It's not going to give me the latest cases which have overruled earlier cases. So the responses that the model will give me legally, the implications are going to be fairly bad if I tell my client that, this is the legal position when it has changed in the last 5 years. So that's one thing. The other part, of course, so I told my students that you can do this, critique it properly, and I will mark you on the basis of your critiquing the response. The other option was that I gave them 5 different legal models, LLMs, and told them that use this to generate 5 responses to the essay, to the topic, whatever. And then do me a comparable analysis. Comparative analysis, do that, and try to figure out which LLM has a better success rate at which parameter. Some LLMs will do exceptionally, they will identify the precedents really well because they have been trained on that kind of retrieval. Some LLMs will give you a very concise explanation. Some LLMs will do the identification of statutes very well. Sections, X, Y, international case laws, precedents, etc. Now, the moment the student starts to figure that out, my purpose is not to make the student produce something which I will read for the first time. I mean, all the subtopics that I'm assigning to my students, I'm aware of what the existing law is with that regard, right? My focus is so that you read that. At the very least, I can say that the topics which used to be assigned to us when we were students, I myself was a student of NUJS once. So after I had finished researching that topic and producing that piece of 5,000 word essay, in that topic, I can take a challenge with anybody else. There is nobody else who can say that they know that particular topic better than me. If I can't do that, then what's the use of my doing research on that topic? There was also another third option. So anyhow, so my point is that these are ways in which people can evolve. Now, solutions need not be the same thing. Not all teachers need to set up the same kind of exercise. Not all students need to do the same kind of exercise. But you still need that because, you see, there are some things which an algorithm can do for you in law right now, and there are some things which it cannot do for you. If you take any kind of law, now information and writing has become very cheap. The more you spread it, you saw. I mean, it has come up with what? Almost a 1,500 word response in 1.5 seconds or something. The only thing which stopped it from actually responding faster is because my scrolling speed was not as fast as its writing speed. So when information becomes cheap and available, and when we are facing this onslaught of information, remember that people come to lawyers for the most part when they don't have any other options. Nobody likes lawyers. Unfortunately, that's something which we can't change, at least in one generation. But when people do come to lawyers when they're in distress, they are not going to appreciate you throwing information at them. A client does not want to know which section is helpful. Client does not want to know which case says what. Client doesn't even want to see a 1,500-page brief or a judgment that you are producing the client. If you want to become a lawyer whom the client is going to value, you are supposed to become a solution provider. Somebody has a problem, I want to tell them this is the solution. This is what they should do, this is what they should not do. And for that purpose, a lawyer needs to be a listener. If you don't understand the specific problem that the client is facing, because it's very common, happens everywhere. When we are teachers, say I teach something in class, then 5 people raise hands with their queries, doubts, etc. I listen to the first 3 doubts, which are more or less similar, same kind of doubt. Some students, when I'm explaining a certain doubt, they will lower their hands because they've already got their answer. They had the same question. But then, I get lulled into a false sense of security. I say, oh, you also have similar problems. Okay, then there is nothing else to discuss. We have already covered this. Maybe your question had a different dimension. Same thing can happen with lawyers. When you listen to the same type of cases day in and day out, somewhere or other you start thinking when the client starts speaking, oh, this is something which I know. I know what is the answer to your problem. This is a problem, this is a deficiency in approach that training provides you to overcome. When you start interning, when you start being a junior to other litigators, when you join a firm to start interning there, these are some of the things which you are taught to overcome, that you need to listen. And there is something which is referred to as the last leg of lawyering. This is not something which the machine can do. Machine can't listen to you with that much amount of empathy. Machine can't calm you down and tell you that, it's okay that you are afraid. It's okay if you don't know what to do. But I still need this information from you with as much accuracy as possible, because without that, I can't help you. You do that, and then the client is going to come back to you again and again and again, especially in a profession like ours, where we can't advertise. So word of mouth will definitely go on to play how much successful you become as a lawyer. Right? Now, with regard to what kind of law, what are you supposed to do if you are trying to be useful to the clients? I can tell you that there is absolutely no barrier to that. Some of you love contract law. Some of you love procedural law. Some of you can like constitutional law, international law, anything and everything. Now, I had the privilege that the people who taught me not to neglect anything. There are subjects wherein I scored the lowest grade, just which allowed me to pass. There are subjects wherein I had done better. And the thing is that the subject, my contract law teacher, one of the very well-known legal academics in the country right now, had never given me more than a B grade in my contract 1 and contract 2 papers. Law of contract still ended up becoming my area of specialization. But, you have heard from the previous speaker, what are the different things Lexis does, all of these different things that AI can do for you in contract drafting, all of these things. Now, you have to also understand that, nothing against Lexis. These days I work with them to help design some of their courses, but what will work for Lexis will not work for us. Why so? Because Indian legal judgments and Indian legal documents are not structured. Without structured information feedback, the algorithms cannot do for Lexis what they can do for us. This is a problem we have been struggling with for a long period of time. I actually have algorithms which can predict at least 5 different branches of law, whatever the Supreme Court and the High Court judge is going to give. If you feed that algorithm certain number of cases from that particular judge, the algorithm will tell you how the judge is going to decide on a new case, and with a fair percentage of accuracy. Am I going to be thinking that the algorithms can judge at one point of time? They can be the judge? No. Why they can't be the judge? Our law will not allow that. You have heard about explainability, right? So what is explainability? You would have heard, many of your teachers would have said this. Simply the answer is not going to suffice. You must tell me why. Because the answer you could have copied from somebody else. Yes, no, this is supposed to happen, that is supposed to happen. So you explain. Why? The why part is very interesting. One of my teachers, again, a very well-known name in constitutional law in the country right now, so he used to employ the so-called Socratic methodology when we were studying. So he will keep on making an atrocious statement in constitutional law, and when ask us to respond, and some of us would, grow very heated, say, no, this is certainly not the case. He will keep on asking a question. Why? Say, because this is this. Oh, is that so? Why? So it will be a class which will consist of at least half an hour in him asking us whys, and we have to figure out the whys. Algorithm at this point of time cannot do that. It cannot tell you always why. We are trying. We are trying to help it explain XAI. That's the term, explainable AI, which is a bigger part of responsible AI. Now the explainability, I will tell you how we do it. We are doing some work with a lot of law students also now. So what we do is, we get legal experts to give us an answer based on a case. Say we take away the verdict, we give the facts of the case and some of the arguments, and we tell the legal experts to say that how would the judge decide based on these points. And then the experts are going to give us an answer. For the most part, the answer will be fairly similar. And then we are going to tell them, identify 10 or 20 sentences in the body of this judgment from where you believe you have arrived at your answer. Most of our judgments, unfortunately, as somebody said, they're in dire need of summarization. That is because a lot of people who are giving those judgments consider themselves as failed authors. So nobody likes to read 500-page judgments, not even the parties. But that's how it is what it is. We have to work with the cards that we have drawn. So what we try to do is tell people that, tell me these 20 sentences, which has made you believe that this is going to be the answer. Rank them. Even among those 20 sentences, some will be more important, some will be less important. And then we ask the algorithm also to rank and identify these sentences. The idea is that if the algorithm also ends up identifying the same 20 sentences and gives them the same ranking, that this is the most important, the second most important, third most important, then chances are the similar kind of thought process the algorithm must have undergone to reach this. Anybody who uses logic, not law, just pure logic, can raise up their hands and say that this is a fallacy. Simply because I am identifying those 10 sentences as you have done, or consider them in the same order, that does not give me 100% chance that that is the same thought process. Could have been different. But we have to, we are not magicians. We want to be. We are not. So we have to come up with something which will work. This is workable as of now. Because there is this very problematic thing when people think of a new technology. We want it to be perfect before we roll it out. Think about it. How many lawyers are there, in your opinion, in India right now? Practicing lawyers. Approximate. Anything? Give me a number. How many practicing lawyers in India right now? 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs, in West Bengal itself, there will be more than 2 lakhs of lawyers. 5 minutes? Okay. So, let us assume the number is a fairly big one. You are law students, don't like numbers, right? So understand, until it's from the client, you don't like it. Fine. But how many of these lawyers do you think adhere to the minimum benchmark that you consider a lawyer should have in terms of dealing with clients, in terms of drafting petitions, in terms of making arguments, etc.? Sadly, the number is not even 50%. I'm telling you that number because of the fact that all of you will have to give the bar exam after you graduate, right? This exam is supposed to be, ever since I was the batch which gave the first bar exam in India, actually. So, unfortunately, that exam has always seemed to be something which does not really test the mettle of a lawyer. The fact remains that bar exam still has a pass percentage of not much more than 50. Despite the fact that it is one of the easiest exams. If one has, forget about attending classes, although I prefer that students do attend classes because it helps them make their job easier. Certainly it helped me, as in I had to attend my classes for multiple reasons. And as a result of that, I have ended up preparing for all my exams not more than 24 hours before the date of the exam, which has also helped me because I just attended the classes. And the teachers who were teaching me were the ones who made the question papers and evaluated. That helped. Can't say it didn't. But that's how it is. Now, I don't have a lot of time left. I will just leave you with certain questions. So if we do not have lawyers who are practicing, who are adhering to the highest possible standards that we think they should, then why do we want the algorithm or the AI to be perfect before we roll it out? Not all judges are perfect. Not all lawyers are perfect. Not all law enforcement authorities are perfect. So why are we thinking that AI should be perfect before we roll it out? There are answers. I mean, there are reasons behind that. It is because of the fact that the sheer volume. How many clients can you tackle in a year? In a day? 10, 20, if you are very prolific? Think about the speed. It can churn up material, and this is a very basic response it has given. If I ask a better question, it is going to give me better answers, including drafting. We are trying to do that. At this rate, this can cater to, according to our, I mean, we are hosting it on a very small server. I don't have the money right now. But this can actually cater at this second to 1,500 clients every given second. Give this kind of response. That is the reason we are a little bit cautious, have to be, because the potential for harm is also much more. A single bad lawyer can do a certain amount of harm. A bad AI lawyer can do 1,000 times that harm. Does this mean we are not going to use it? Absolutely not. We have to. Otherwise, people will go ahead. 2 of my students have launched this startup, Judisphere.ai. They are now selling, AI-based solutions for law firms. Most of the Indian law firms are their clients now. Why are they being able to do this? Because first mover advantage. Other startups will come. But what do we do as a lawyer? What do we do in order to prepare ourselves? See, today, because of the fact that, again, because of the first mover advantage, when I had expressed my willingness to work in this domain, there were not many legal academics or lawyers who were interested. So most of the people who started coming up with solutions, they came to me at that point of time. Today, thankfully, there are a lot more others who can work within this domain. But as a result of which, I had to tell them things about legal domains about which I did not even pay that much attention in class. And certainly there were subjects. I'm not going to tell you that I paid full attention in all of the 50 subjects which were taught to me in class. Nobody does. But what helps is that if you have your basic grounding, if somebody is telling you completely wrong law things, it's okay if you are a specialist in some place. I am not. I'm not a specialist. No bad. So many of you would have heard of this. I think all of you would have heard of this particular adage, jack of all trades, master of none, right? Anybody aware of what follows? There is a second sentence. Term better? Yes, close enough. So if you are master of, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be specialist. I'm simply saying that as a lawyer, being a little bit of a jack of all trades helps. Because to the mind of the person who is seeking legal help, you are a lawyer. You are not a contract specialist. You are not a bail specialist. That they won't even get to know, right? And as a result of that, I'll tell you the issues why we need lawyers here. So last year, because the India government and the UK government had undertaken an exercise where they had more or less basically hijacked some of us from all parts of the country. They put us in this excellent old Rajput castle in Jodhpur, in Rajasthan, Fort Nimrana Palace, for 5 days. And we were supposed to come up with ideas about what the two governments are going to work in AI in the next 5 years. So one team, these were people from completely different walks of law. There were sociologists, there were tech people, we've got only 2 lawyers actually from the entire country. And so some of them came up with an excellent idea. I don't know how many of you have heard of supply chain management. Very basic thing. You take something from point A, you are taking it to point B. There are a lot of logistics involved here. You live nearby a port, you are fairly familiar with at least one part of supply chain. Now, supply chain management is a big headache, especially when it takes place across countries. Okay. So these people came up with a very interesting idea that can we make supply chain more greener, more green using AI, which means that less energy intensive. Less, as a result of which it will become cheaper. So they came up with a proposal, everything, and I was supposed to review the proposal there. And I told them that this is not going to work. Why so? Because there is no lawyer in your team who would have told you that for the purpose of this system to be used between India and UK, this system has to obey all the trade laws, including the trade treaties that India and UK are a part of, the customs laws, the WTO different labeling applications, and multitude of other laws. If you don't train the system to give you solutions which are adhering to these laws, then whatever solution the system gives, you can never implement it in reality. This is the job of a lawyer in developing these things. There are 2 fields of AI use insofar as lawyers are concerned. One is AI use in the legal domain. That's an example I'm showing you here. In every other field, AI is being used, and there is something that a lawyer can do about it. The question is, do you have the openness of mind to say that I will try, I'll give it a shot? So there was a defense ministry brief. For obvious reasons, I can't go into the details. But the one question was that, can we use AI in order to develop missiles? Because, the previous speaker was telling you how exactly AI can give better visual results on occasions. It's possible. So if you, say, in the complete dark of night, if you try to distinguish between the background and a human-built edifice, some kind of building, completely dark, we will succeed occasionally after we get close enough. And AI will be able to succeed at least 5 kilometers back. They're able to distinguish this. This is a very important thing for the purpose of, defense and military use implications. Why the lawyer here? Well, we have treaties which allow or disallow certain usage, including collateral damages, which we can't do without violating the rules of war. And that's it. From X to Y, everything. Up to you. You figure out what to do, what not to do. But what I can tell you is that the choice is limitless. Okay? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, our students, if they have any kind of questions they want to ask, they can raise their hands. Any probable question you have? Anyone? Fine. Thank you so much, sir, for your thoughtful insights into AI and law. It really helped us to understand how we can accept AI. For now, we all are not accepting AI, but rather than that, we can accept it and train it and use it for benefit rather than be feared of AI. AI is used most by our students these days. Hope we all, the members of legal fraternity, use and apply AI responsibly. Now, all the guests and dignitaries to come over the stage. Sir and ma'am, please. These tokens are not just gifts, they are symbols of our sincere thanks for the knowledge, experience, and thoughtful perspectives that have been shared with us. Your presence here has added immense value to the discussion on the navigating AI in the legal arena, and we are truly honored. So please take. May I now request Kasturi Ghoshal ma'am to kindly come forward and present the gifts to our distinguished guests. May I request Dolly ma'am to kindly come forward and present the gift. May I now request Oindrila ma'am to please come forward and present the gift. May I request Oindrila ma'am to please come forward and present the gift. May I request Priyanka ma'am to kindly come forward and present the gift to ma'am. May I request Kasturi ma'am to please come forward and present the gift to ma'am. Thank you once again to all our guests for gracing this occasion. Your support and encouragement inspire us to keep pursuing meaningful dialogues around innovation, ethics, and responsibility. As we come to the close of this insightful and enlightening workshop on navigating artificial intelligence in the legal arena, balancing innovation with ethical and legal responsibility, I would like to request Dr. Pratim Sarkar Sir, Associate Professor, Haldia Law College, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. I feel honored and privileged to get this opportunity to give the vote of thanks in this workshop program. First of all, I would like to propose a cheerful vote of thanks to our chairman, sir, Dr. Lakshman Chandra Seth. Without his patronage, we could not successfully conduct this program. I must mention deep sense of gratitude to the Vice Chairman of Haldia Law College, Mr. Sudiptan Seth, learned advocate and legal advisor of ICARE, Secretary of Haldia Law College, Mr. Bimal Majhi, learned advocate of Haldia Subdivisional Court. We appreciate their constant support and cooperation for running this college in a healthy manner and their valuable suggestion for organizing this program. I would like to express special thanks to Honorable Justice Taufiquddin Sir, retired Judge, Calcutta High Court, Mr. Nikhil Baron Bishwas, Joint Secretary, Higher Education Department, Government of West Bengal, Dr. Soubhik Kumar Guho, Associate Professor, Law of Technology, WBNUGS, Dr. Bidesh Chakraborty, Professor and HOD, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, Haldia Institute of Technology, for enlightening us for their valuable lecture. I acknowledge them for all words and wisdom that radiated a source of energy within us. We remain ever grateful to you, sir, all of you. I would also like to thank our respected principal, sir, faculty members, and administrative staffs for their moral support and guidance and effort for making this program a great success. I finally like to express smiling thanks to the student for their active involvement in this program. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Then let us conclude today's ceremonious afternoon. I thank all our guests, dignitaries, and students for being with us today. I would also like to thank our principal, sir, the faculty, non-teaching and administrative staff, and our beloved students for their efforts in making this workshop a success. Thank you. I would like to request the organizing committee and our academic and the advisor, Dr. Pratim Sarkar sir, Principal sir, Dolly Bishwas ma'am, Priyanka Sen Gupta ma'am, Kasturi ma'am, and Oindrila ma'am to please come over the stage. And all the other faculty members to please come over the stage to take a picture for this ceremony. Shri ma'am, Tanmay sir, Jabbar sir, Ankita ma'am, Angira ma'am, Nirupam sir, Labanya ma'am, Amrita ma'am, please, please come over the stage for a quick photo. Thank you so much, everyone. Students can collect their refreshment packets from outside the seminar hall, and certificates will be provided by Nirupam sir. And for the details, you can contact to Nirupam sir itself. Stay seated for a minute. Stay seated for a minute.